Welcome to another fabulous episode of Tesla Model S Explained, although I'm probably going to have to start changing that to Tesla Model A, B, C, D through Z, the way that hopefully is what we're going to achieve. But for the time being, I guess Tesla Model S, Model X, and Model E, and you can rearrange those words in another order because you know what sells. Anyways, today we are going to be talking about charging habits, what you can do to help your battery last as long as possible. I've been getting swamped with messages as well as phone calls from people wondering how the heck I'm able to achieve a 207 to 209 rated range charge. That's a 100% charge on my Model S, while I still have 21,000 miles on my car. Now, you'd imagine after 7 months, 7 months, 2 weeks, or is it 3 weeks? Shoot, I'm losing count. That's not good. 7 months, 3 weeks, 5 days, no, 6 days, 5 days. 7 months, 3 weeks, 5 days, 2 hours and 50 minutes of ownership, and I'm still able to get up to 209 rated miles per charge. How do I do that? Basically, I beat the crap out of my car. I do it gently. I don't abuse it, but I use it excessively. So, what do I do different than most people? I follow Tesla's rules, sort of. Gracie, quiet. Uncle's filming a video. Trunk midget number 3. Anyways, basically I do what Tesla says. On a daily basis, I use about a 90%, I do about a 90% charge. If I need a longer charge, then I do a longer charge. If I need that 100%, seat's getting too hot. I do a 100% charge. If I don't need it, then I don't. One thing I do not do is charge to 100% and leave it sit at 100%. That is probably the teeters between the first and second worst thing you can do for your battery. The other first/second worst thing you can do for your battery is drain it all the way down and leave it sit all the way down. Now, your ideal charging percentages are going to be between approximately 30 to 80%. That's ideal for longest longevity. However, for most people, that it gets a little too complicated, and especially if you have the 60 kilowatt battery pack, you might find yourself stranded or having to stop somewhere and plug in for a while. So I just go and do sort of based on what the original firmware that I got with my car way back when. We didn't have the adjustable slider. We had either a standard charge or a range charge. Standard charge was about 93% of the battery capacity, whereas the range charge was 100%. But with the change to the newer firmwares, where we now have this neat adjustable slider, instead of being a 93% standard charge, that's gotten dropped down to about 90%. So it's about 3% lower than it used to be. But now you can choose between a 50% charge and a 100% charge. You can go anywhere in between that. Now, if you're going to go on vacation and park the car for, say, a week, a month, put that slider down to 50, leave it at 50, but then plug your car in. I'd recommend turning unless your car's parked outside in sub-zero or freezing or below freezing temperatures, turn that NEMA 1450 or whatever down to the lowest amperage setting. The car will automatically come on at once every 24 hours and top that battery pack off to whatever level that you selected. So if you put it at 50, if after 24 hours it needs a little top off, it'll top itself off. The idea is keep the charge percentage as close to 50% as possible under storage conditions. Now, like I said, for normal daily usage, I do 90%. And as you can probably tell by what I said, My mileage is not low. I put a lot of miles on my car. So 90% does it most of the time. But I do regularly use range charge. I've said it before, one of the biggest mistakes I've ever done was getting the 60 kilowatt car instead of the 85 kilowatt car. Number one, I'm going to exhaust my warranty fairly quickly. Probably within the next two more years I'll probably get out of the warranty. And number two, I do a lot of range charges. I've probably done over 80 range charges now since getting my car. So it's over 80 range charges in less than 8 months. Let's see here. Now, range charges can hurt your car, like I said, but yet it might not hurt your car. Now, if you do a range charge, don't leave it sit at that 100%. I'll give you an example. If I'm leaving at 7 a.m., I turn on the charger. I charge my 90%, but about an hour before I'm going to leave, I hit the button on my iPhone app, or if that's not conveniently available, then I will come out to the car when is my iPhone not conveniently available? That thing's pretty much glued to the side of my leg. Bad choice of words. It's glued to the side of my leg in my pocket, as in I always have it with me. So about an hour before I leave, I hit that range charge, and it takes about an hour in most climates to be able to get to a 100% charge on a 1450 outlet. Now, if you're in sub-zero or sub-freezing temperatures, a little bit more power is going to be consumed because it will have to heat the battery pack if your battery pack is cold-soaked. In that case, about an hour and a half before you're going to leave should do, unless you're in Alaska or the North Pole. And the idea is, I charge to the 100%, but it's not going to sit at 100%. I'm going to hop in the vehicle and I'm going to be using that up right away. So I hop in, I start driving, and then I don't have to worry about it sitting at that 100%. Likewise, I drain the car down to about charge now or zero or charge now at least once a week as well. But another bad thing you can do is by leaving the car sit at that. Do not leave a car sit at charge now or zero miles remaining. What you want to do is try and get it, even on a 110 outlet, if you can get it to any kind of charge, start getting something back into those batteries. That's all it takes. Like I say, ideally you want to try and always keep the car between 30 and 80% if you're going to be using it on a daily basis. Now, if you're someone that only drives maybe 20 miles a day, 30 miles a day, then by all means turn that slider down a little lower. You don't need to charge it up, put it all the way to 90%. But if you do a little more than that, or use your car regularly, blast the heat, blast air conditioning, where you can drain a little more percentage out of it, just do 90% on a daily basis. Just remember to plug it in at night. It's that simple, just like your cell phone. I'm going on 3 years on my iPhone. I don't know how people can manage to wear out their battery so quick, but on my iPhone, 3 years, I still have. Actually, I can tell you exactly what I have because I got a neat little, of course I jailbroke it. I have a neat little app, Proper Charging Practices, a neat little jailbroken app here. After 3 years of discharging this phone almost completely on a daily basis, I still have 88.22% of my original battery capacity left. And I have done what's calculated out to 686 full cycles on my iPhone. Yeah, my battery's still good. Why? Because I use it. Okay, charges a little quicker than my car does, but not counting superchargers. But the idea is, you use it. When you're done with it, at the end of the night, plug it in. Charging. So that covers kind of charging habits. Now, battery balancing. It's talked about quite a bit. A lot of people don't know exactly what it is or exactly how it affects your car. Basically, what happens is there's not just one big battery in this car. It's called a battery pack. That's made up of thousands and thousands and thousands of individual battery cells. The Tesla uses a cell called the 18650. And now, supposedly, they've changed the chemistry of them just a little bit. We don't know exactly what kind of changes they really did make. But in other words, that is what's powering the Tesla Model S. Not an Ultrafire, this brand's crap. They're using Panasonic. Panasonic's pretty decent. This is an 18650 cell. There's anywhere from, my guesstimate, I think it was 6,000 to 8,000 of these in the Model S battery pack. Now, what balancing is, and I use that one for my flashlight, what battery balancing does is over time, each one of those cells, voltages in them start to vary a little bit. Some have a higher voltage, some have a lower voltage. Now, ideally, you want each cell in the whole battery pack to have the exact same voltage, because the battery can only discharge enough power until the lowest voltage cell reaches the cutoff point. So, like I say, the chemistry varies a little bit on the 18650 cells. So it depends. I don't know exactly what the chemistry is going to be in the Model S. Nobody really does except Tesla themselves. It's somewhat proprietary. But let's say the cutoff voltage is 3.2 volts on a lithium-ion cell, a particular cell. Now you have, just for simplicity's sake, you have 10 cells in a row. Now fully charged, those are about 4.2 volts. So when we start off, 4.2 volts times 10 cells is 42 volts. Now, discharge, so let's say 3.2 volts is the fully discharged, safe discharge voltage. Because if you discharge a lithium cell too far, you won't be able to fully recharge it safely. There is a risk of fire, overheating, explosion. So there is a safe cutoff voltage. There is also a point where if you go below that, you'll start to lose major capacity. So now let's consider a dead battery at 3.2 volts. Now we multiply that by 10. So when the pack is considered dead, it is now at 32 volts. Now the problem being is over time, because there's no way to manufacture each individual battery cell identically. Over time, some will end up with a higher voltage, some will end up with a lower voltage. So if you have 9 batteries that are still hovering at a full charge around 4.2 volts, and then you have one battery in that pack, one cell in that pack that might have lost some capacity, or just over time it's just not taking as much of a recharge as it used to. That one's only doing a full charge, or charging up to about 3.6 volts. Now, when you start to draw power from that pack, you're drawing the same amount of power from each cell, but guess which one's going to hit that low cutoff voltage first? The one with 3.6 volts. Now, because that one hits the lowest cutoff voltage first, the car, let's just say that's powering a car, and I'm only using 10 batteries to keep it for simplicity's sake. We're talking about 6,000 or 7,000 or 8,000 batteries in the Tesla Model S battery pack. The pack will only give out as much power as the lowest voltage, lowest capacity cell will give out. So once that 1 out of 10 cells reaches the cutoff point, that's it, you're done. Car considers the battery pack dead, 0 miles, 0 rating, you're not going anymore until you recharge the battery. That is where battery balancing comes into effect and the battery management system of a vehicle. With lithium and electric cars, battery management system helps keep each cell at a healthy level, helps judge what the capacity of each of the cells and each of the bricks of batteries are in your pack. So basically what happens is when the battery management system kicks in, it's equalizing the voltage, making sure each cell in that battery pack has the same voltage. Very important. Now, besides what I have just said about not having the overall capacity, and likewise, charging the car will only charge up to whatever when the first bank of cells or first cell hits that maximum voltage, it cuts off as well. Now, a few things that it can also affect by having an out-of-balance battery pack. One, you're going to have a lower range on your vehicle. So some of those out there experiencing range loss, I highly doubt it's actually degradation of your battery pack, especially if the car's only been out about a year. Now, what you are experiencing are two things: battery degradation, or not. I just said it's not. Excuse me, brain's not catching up. Yeah, we get Vinny in just a minute. Hold on, guys. Temperature affects the capacity of a lithium cell greatly, as well as out of balance. So when it's colder out, the battery can't provide as much power, as well as when the pack is out of balance, the battery pack cannot provide as much power because that low voltage cutoff. Now, what many people have noticed is if you're going to do a 100% charge, now the car will, over a long period of time, will balance the battery pack when charging to a lower than full percentage. However, if you want to balance the pack quicker and more effectively, a 100% range charge is the way to go. Now what happens is, what a lot of people notice is when you do a 100% charge, when it gets that final 1% left, and that charge timer's counting down, it might go 5 minutes and you'll have maybe 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and then all of a sudden it's 1 minute, and you're just sitting there waiting for it to finish. Hour later, still says 1 minute. That is when the battery pack is actively being balanced. It's doing a really hard brunt work of the force to get all that back into balance, equalize the voltages in all the cells. My recommendation is, if you're not in a hurry or don't need the car, just let it finish. That's actually making the pack more healthy. If you're in a hurry, don't worry about it. Unplug the car and go. That's the nice thing about the Tesla Model S. It's a foolproof system, and just hop in and go. Don't worry about it. It's basically all I can say is this is the iPhone of the car world. This car really doesn't even need an owner's manual, just like the iPhone. So don't sweat it. Now, some people have very out of balance packs, especially those that do very few range charges. Like I said, you don't want to charge it to 100% and leave it sit there for a long period of time. Battery balancing once in a while is fine. You'll actually see the greatest increase in range when you drain the car down fairly low, say 2, 0, or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 miles, and then do a 100% range charge. Don't do that on a regular basis. If you do that every day or constantly, that can cause some problems and degradation of your battery pack. But doing it once in a great while, maybe once every month or once every couple months, helps the car judge how much capacity is left in the battery cells, and then helps them bring them back up to full and equalize the voltages in all of them, keeping everything matched and the same. Some problems that you also might see from having an out-of-balance battery pack are a little more slushy feel in the acceleration. Vinny's not out of school yet, guys. We've got to wait. As some of the cells are dropping to a lower voltage than the others, the higher the voltage, less resistance in the wiring, less resistance in the batteries, more efficient everything runs. So that acceleration is going to be a lot crisper, a lot cleaner, and a lot quicker. Lower the voltage, you won't be going as fast as quick. Without going into another hour-long video, that's as far as I'm going to get on that. So that's one effect that you will see besides the range loss. Let's see here. Charging speed, the way the Model S is designed, charging speed is not going to play as much as in a role of longevity of the pack as it would be for other vehicles. A few reasons. Number one, the Tesla Model S has fully active battery thermal management. So that means it heats the battery as needed and it cools the battery as needed. So you don't have to worry about a lot of the problem with charging too fast is, such as the Nissan Leaf, is battery pack heat up. There is no cooling of a Nissan Leaf battery pack, which is why they're having real range degradation in warmer climates such as Arizona. Don't have to worry about that with the Model S. In fact, you really could supercharge on a regular basis, and it really, over in the long haul, maybe if you did it daily, you'll see a little more degradation after 4, 5, 6 years than someone who didn't. But doing it occasionally, no problem. So feel free to charge your car at your 40 amps, your 80 amps, It's not going to make one bit of a difference. Although, like I said, if the car is going to be stored, it's best to put about 50% of charge capacity on the slider and turn the amperage down as low as it will go. And because all you need is just a little bit to keep the car topped off. Don't need quite a bit. So I hope that answered quite a number of questions in terms of balancing the battery pack and keeping things all equal. I have to run because I got to pick up midget number 1 from school. If I did not touch on something that you'd like to know more about, please do not hesitate to contact me. Either post a message below or send me a message, or those of you on TeslaMotorsClub.com, just send me a message, post on that thread where I'm posting this video, and I'd be more than happy to do a follow-up video and or answer any questions you might have. I am fairly experienced with lithium, lead, and lead-acid battery packs in electric cars, so I do my best. Salute!